We eat plants for fun. Fruits and vegetables and grains are not necessary on a healthy diet. I didn't know that. And so every single day I was damaging my health, even when I was trying to be healthy, even when I was trying to be good, because, well, I always ate grains. But then when I was trying to be healthy, I would add fruits and vegetables to the mix to try to get my health, my weight, my everything under control. And it wasn't until I learned that carbohydrates were causing my health problems that I even looked at the idea that fruits and vegetables could be a problem. But even more crazy of all this was that when I learned that piece of information, I was now in a dilemma. How the heck? What am I supposed to eat if I'm not supposed to have carbohydrates? I was absolutely confused because I wasn't sure what to put on my plate. I don't know about you, but the idea of eating less than 20 grams of carbohydrates each day seems like an impossible task, or it seemed to me like an impossible task back when I was trying to do it. Luckily for me, I fell on two doctors that helped explain how I would even try. The first doctor was Dr. Berg, and he was talking about how we could actually eat 7 to 10 cups of vegetables and salad and still be under 20 grams of carbs every day. The next doctor that I found was Dr. Westman. I saw that famous white coat video. He again talked about his food list that I could download and see what vegetables I could eat and stay under 20 grams of carbs every day. And his list was wider because it talked about nuts and seeds and all kinds of stuff. So that was my jumping off point for the idea that possibly I could eat less than 20 grams of carbs every day. It still took me a month and a half before I started. I combined what I learned from Dr. Westman and Dr. Berg and came up with a list of like 19 vegetables that I was going to eat going forward. Keep in mind, for the last 10 years, I hadn't eaten any of the vegetables on this list. So I'd eaten maybe 11 of them before, but 8 of them were brand new. And my main vegetables before I started this way of eating were carrots, potatoes. Yeah, carrots and potatoes, and maybe salad. I would say iceberg salad. That was what I was mainly eating. I was eating a lot of grains, a lot of pasta, right? A lot of fun foods, but I wasn't eating healthy vegetables. I was unaware that the food that I was eating, so that was high in carbohydrates, high in sugar, was causing the pain that I was living with for approximately 23 years. And the last, I'd say 6 years of it really becoming intense, really becoming debilitating until I got to the point where I could barely walk. I'd started this diet because I wanted to feel better, but I've kept eating the diet because I did feel better. Within 3 months of eating a keto diet, all of my joint pains went away. That was something that I would have loved to have earlier in life, first of all, but second of all, something that I hadn't ever imagined being something that was going to happen for me. I honestly thought that all my prayers had been answered, that I was going to be pain-free moving forward forever. Unfortunately, that's not exactly what happened. To be fair, I did live pain-free for quite a bit of time before the problems started to show up. And honestly, I lost 80 pounds, which was unexpected, but very necessary because 80 pounds, I was overweight, and I can't deny that. There were very positive benefits to eating a keto lifestyle. The pain and the weight loss being top on the list. The increased mental clarity, another great benefit that I lived. But I want to be honest that there were some other things that happened. And those things happened because, as I said at the beginning of this video, we eat plants for fun, and not understanding that one piece of information led me down a bad path. When I started keto, I was following some doctors, but the more you watch keto videos, the more you find other people. And I found some other, what I'll call influencers, who were making videos, and I started to watch their videos as well. And some of them did keto for weight loss. Some of them did keto for metabolic, so health issues. But there were some of them that were doing keto for neither of those two reasons. I didn't know that at the time, but as I watched them longer and longer, I find out that they were always metabolically healthy from what they knew and always at a good weight. So they were doing keto because they found keto and understood that it was beneficial to health, but with no pre-existing condition. That is going to become really important a little bit, and I'm going to explain. But that piece of information changes things. The information that I got from the doctors, I will say every doctor, solid, good information, on target. But then the influencers that I was watching were talking more about how to make keto easy. And I was really attracted to that because in my mind, with all the pain I had lived, I already knew that I needed to eat this way forever. So the idea of making it easy was really intriguing to me. And add to this that by the time that I started to find these other people, Pat had joined me. And so it was kind of good to give him some videos to watch that weren't maybe medically focused, but more just normal people talking about how they're able to live this lifestyle and stick with it. Just, we could watch the videos together and just have a better idea of what we're doing. So keep in mind, successfully healing my pain and actually losing weight inspired me to want to do keto forever. And I'm looking at people who have done keto, according to them, what they're telling me, for years. And they're still doing it, and they're still happy about doing it, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to be happy about doing this new way of eating. And every one of them is making replacement foods and eating like processed keto foods. Every one of these people that I find. And I'm like, okay. Now, the processed keto foods, I right away discounted, mostly because when I found them in Canada, in our stores, none of the ingredients were things that I felt fell in line with what the doctors first said. That you want ingredients that on the label, you can read the real words. So that was one thing. And that the carb count of those ingredients need to add up to numbers that fall within a keto lifestyle. When I would do the math, like one small keto bar like this, or one small keto cookie, or whatever it was, the numbers were adding up to be like 6, 7. And if I'm doing 20, that was too much of a percentage of my carb count for the day. Remember, I'm following Dr. Berg and I'm trying to get 7 to 10 cups of vegetables in. So to me, the math wasn't adding up. Replacement foods, though, I was often able to find recipes for things like pasta, recipes for things like rice, and so it's vegetables, and just using vegetables to mimic the foods I used to eat. And to me, that seemed like a great thing to do. For example, if I made spaghetti for the kids, I could have spaghetti too. If I made rice for the kids, I could have rice too. And so it just seemed logical. It seemed to make sense. So now I'm making replacement cakes and cookies, things like that. And I'm also eating nuts, which was not something that I used to do, but I learned that nuts are a great snack or a cool dessert. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that too. So I started having things. Well, first of all, I started having dessert, which was not something that I used to do before. Dessert wasn't a thing I thought about. If I wanted to have some ice cream, I just had ice cream. I didn't call it dessert. So now all of a sudden, I've kind of started talking to myself a different way about what I'm doing, but I'm also making these fun things. Again, I wouldn't be baking cookies usually. I would just buy cookies at the store in the standard American diet, standard Canadian diet. But now I'm making cookies, making cake, making donuts. Food was becoming fun again. Food was becoming fun again. Chasing the perfect way to stay healthy, I accidentally sabotaged my goal of staying healthy. Right? I reintroduced this ridiculous, dumb, stupid idea that food is supposed to be fun. That's the thing I was doing back when I was self-soothing with food because I had a hard day, or, I got into an argument, or my kid wasn't listening or whatever, and I'm just going to have some ice cream or cookies or what. And all of a sudden, here I'm doing it again, where I'm letting food be entertaining to me. Oh, I'm bored. Let me eat this keto something. And I was back to chasing. Now I'm chasing dessert because I'm having it almost every day. I'm having nuts. I'm having all these things, and I'm chasing them. Like, it's not just I'm having one serving. So even though this keto cookie or this serving of nuts falls well below what I can actually have in a day, because I'm chasing, I end up having too many servings, and I'm going over my numbers, but I'm also feeling it, right? Because my body's reacting. I'm having fun with food, and I want you on this warrior to learn from my mistake, because that was a mistake. For some of these people that I was following, I was so focused on the fact that they were telling me what I wanted to hear. You can still have pasta, you can still have cake, you can still have rice, and you can still, that I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was reintroducing these foods from my history that didn't help my health. But also I was allowing myself to make things that tasted sweet. So having a brain reaction to sweet flavors, of course, causing me to chase, because your brain doesn't know the difference between real sweet and fake sweet, number one. This stuff was reigniting unhealthy habits that I had from my history. So one of the things we need to be careful about is not just what I'm eating, it's what I'm eating means to me. We have all these lies that we've been sold that tell us that we're supposed to eat several meals per day, for example, or that we need to eat fun foods to enjoy life, and that it's normal to have dessert. Wellness wear. We know from following doctors who are giving us good information, every time you eat, insulin is rising. And if your insulin rises too many times during a day, it doesn't have the opportunity to get back to baseline overnight. And that's how you progressively move towards diabetes. The doctors were clear about this, and yet somehow I allowed my desire to eat fun things to get me to have nuts in between meals, to get me to drink sodas and flavored waters that had artificial sweeteners in it that caused my insulin still to rise, even though no sugar came in. It caused me still to chase because it tasted sweet. And then I'm actually eating the nuts, or I'm actually eating the cake, or I'm actually eating the things that's now giving me too much carbohydrate in my body. It is so important that the information you're getting lines up and validates each other, right? The doctor's information was validating itself, but the information I was getting from other channels wasn't. I have doctors telling me, no matter which doctor I listen to, rising insulin is a problem, especially if it's happening too many times a day, especially if it's happening because of sweet tasting things, carbohydrates. That's a problem. But then I have other channels saying, oh, like you can eat this keto snack and it doesn't do anything. You can eat keto snacks, so fat bombs, because they're made with fat, even though they're sweetened, that's not going to do anything. And my experience was telling me that that's not reality. I can't even explain to you why I wasn't able to put together that almond flour or coconut flour or artificial sweeteners or even stevia, that those things were highly processed and therefore my body would still react. Why didn't I make that connection? I don't know, but I want you to learn from my mistake. These things are still processed, ultra processed. We need to understand that. The keto doctors that I was focused on, especially their older videos, those original videos, were ultra focused on eating one ingredient, real food. They wanted you to go to the grocery store, buy real groceries, cook them and eat them. And I know, a lot of you are going to hit my comments right now talking about how Dr. Berg and Dr. Westman both have products and they sell things. I know. I'm talking about the original videos of theirs that I found, where they were talking about real food, first of all. But second of all, I'm going to point out that even though they have products, they still continue till today to endorse, do it with real food. They push that. They tell us how to do it with real food first. And that's what I followed. I'm telling you this because that's the path that I took to get to where I am. It was all about real food. Which brings me to the next point that I want to make right now, because despite the fact that all of the doctors that I started following at the beginning were talking about only real food, today I've noticed that a lot of them talk about supplements or processed food or, forgiving if you happen to step out of keto for a bit. And I focus on the rule, not the exception. Doctors believe that if they tell you do something, there's a high probability you're not going to do it strictly. In my opinion, I think keto doctors, because they want you to do your best, to try your hardest, they want you to stay on plan, will tell you, do this, and then they'll give you these crutches or assistance, right? Oh, but you can take this or you can use these keto whatevers as an aid to yourself, because they want you to do it as much as possible and to stay on track as much as possible. And so stepping out once is better than quitting keto altogether. And I totally get that. So why am I so hardcore? Why do I push and I don't let up? And I'm saying do it every day, all the time, no matter what. It's because I'm not your doctor. I'm not your friend, right? And I have one opportunity to get in your face and say, this is what's helped me. And I truly believe it's going to help you, because human bodies need animal protein and fat. I have one opportunity in front of you to say this. Processed foods are causing pain, are causing illness, are causing sickness, are causing weight gain, and you can change it. I have one opportunity to say this to you. Because of the work that I do, I happen to know that when people know what the best practices are and they're actually invested in their health, they want the change that we're talking about, they actually do what's best for health. And I'll be honest with you, I'm like the perfect example of this. How many times have I changed my diet because I was trying to lose weight? Too many to count. Change my diet, go back to standard. Change my diet, go back to standard. It's ridiculous. But as soon as I had physical pain, and I had physical pain when I changed my diet when I was doing it for weight, I didn't know that I could actually change my diet and solve the pain. But when I had physical pain and I was told, oh, but diet will solve physical pain, and then I changed my diet and my pain went away, it solidifies to me, this is the diet I'm going to do forever. Why? Because when health is on the line, we're willing to do it. I was not seeing my weight problem as a health problem, because in our world, we don't do that. We don't connect these things and say health and weight doesn't, it's an aesthetic thing. You just want to look a certain way so you can wear certain clothes. And no, this is what I didn't understand. I'm in front of you right now. I have one opportunity to help you to see this. Your weight is rising. That's an indication that you are on your way to a metabolic problem, whether it's diabetes, PCOS, some kind of heart problem. Something is going to happen if we don't change what we're doing. And weight is one signal. Pain is a different signal. Mental fog is a different signal. Apparently now I'm learning mental health issues are another signal. They're all telling us that the food we're eating is problematic. The problem for me was, within the keto world, there's still room to ruin your health with processed foods, with junky foods, because we keep trying to put in replacement stuff. I want a replacement cookie, a replacement chocolate bar, a replacement cake. So I had a really hard look at those best practices and decided to apply them every single day. Now, I'm not trying to scare you away from keto, but I can imagine right now you're wondering, how can I tell the people that are going to lead me towards the best practices versus the people that are going to lead me astray, right? Especially with recently learning that companies pay influencers to say whatever, right? Knowing that influencers have products that they sell. How do I know who's credible, who's not credible? The way that I got led astray was because I was paying more attention to what was fun than I was paying attention to why is the person offering this kind of a solution. When a replacement or a processed food is being offered as a staple of your diet, I'm much more skeptical today. When a replacement or a processed food is offered as a bridge from you're not keto until you're keto, or you're not carnivore until you're carnivore, if you're trying to get into a new state and this is a bridge to get you there, I'm much more open to hearing what the person has to say. Why? Because the obvious ultimate goal is you're eating whole foods. And any doctor or influencer who's saying, ultimately, we're trying to get to the place where you're eating whole foods all the time, one ingredient foods all the time, I'm willing to hear them out. You want to follow people, listen from people, learn from people who are trying to empower you, who are trying to help you to see that you can bet on you, that you can bring your health to a new level by eating properly. You want someone who wants you to learn to have confidence in your body, that if I give it the right tools, which is the food I feed it, it will give me the right health. Healthy, like I will be healthy. Ultimately, whoever you're following should be sharing the kind of information where once you learn it, you can go into any situation and eat on plan. So whether that's a restaurant, whether that's a party, whether you go on vacation and you're surrounded by foods you've never seen before, that you can look at the foods and make a good decision because you have a good base of information. What's healthy to eat and what's not healthy to eat. That's how I was able to go on vacation, a cruise, and come back 5 pounds lighter, because I went there and I only ate what I knew, and I only ate healthy things. I ate meat and meat and eggs and meat and eggs and meat for 7 days and came back 5 pounds lighter. And that wasn't the plan. I didn't plan to come back lighter because I actually ate quite a bit of food. I thought maybe I'd gain a little bit. Not even. When you know what to eat, you can protect yourself in any situation. I have core principles. I have best practices, whatever you want to call them. I have the basic information that allows me to understand that any veg that I put on my plate, whatever kind of veg it is, so whether it's fruit, vegetables, grains, if it's vegetation and it's on my plate, it's there for fun. I know that the meat and accompanying fat that I eat is what builds the healthy version of me and is the cleanest fuel for me. That information actually allows me to make good decisions no matter what situation I'm in, no matter what kind of gathering I go to, no matter who is around me, what restaurant I'm. That information has set me free because I can rely on me to make the best decision. If you want to learn how to do this, click on the video that's right here. That's going to help you to learn how to eat keto healthy all the time. Click on the link. I'm going to meet you over there.